members of his family in Split and Zagreb. Inside football, and certainly here, it means nothing really that a Croatian leads a team against a side from the Serbian capital. But outside football, these are the sort of minor issues which mean a lot, too much perhaps, when there's a civil war. This player, for instance, has a Croatian mother and a Serbian father. So he is involved very much in not just a football match here. But the whole emphasis here is that the two sides, the two coaches and the individuals are very much friends. They're just playing a football match. Two key players are the captains, Pizarro and Savicevic, who we've just seen. The pitch very much improved. I've had the honour of coming here for the last 10 years. 10 years ago, it was really almost unplayable. Now, delightfully green, it's had a little bit of rain. The conditions are as near as perfect as you can get. So we await the start of the 12th Toyota European South American Cup. We await then the signal from the referee from Switzerland, and we're away. It's a Red Star of Belgrade in the red and white, to Colo Colo in their normal black and white. Two trophies, a world title, $250,000 for competing, and a bonus on top of that, although Red Star Belgrade players have said they won't accept the bonus. It'll have to go to the club in their difficult circumstances. So Colo Colo worried a little bit about the old Chilean malaise, the fact that they don't travel away from home all that well, and the first 20 minutes is going to be very, very important to them. Their mentality is the thing that concerns them most, not their skill. As for Red Star, 5, of course, of their side has moved on since the European Cup final. 5 new players and a new coach. How well will they be integrated here? Red Star at the moment are second in their championship. Colo Colo, with only 2 games to go, are leading theirs. So 2 winning sides here, but in different stages of the season. Well, there's a free kick, and the first involvement for Mendoza on that right-hand side there, but the first involvement for the referee, a languages teacher from Zurich, but Serbo-Croat is not one of the languages he teaches. Jugović trying to get it forward to Savicevic. Mihailovic, well cut out. Here comes Savicevic, loses it to Pizarro. Pizarro coming for a return, slips, fouled, a free kick. Quickly taken to Martinez. Another free kick. Well, there's so many distractions mentally for the Red Star side. It's going to be something of a relief for them, they said, to actually get out there and play a game of football. Phone calls home, even as recently as this morning, have indicated that the situation is very poor in Yugoslavia, but it's not looking too good in their defence here, as Yanez got by. This is Pato Yanez, a very strong, experienced player. He's the one who's had 8 years in Spain, and he forces the first corner. They're not desperately experienced in the air, but they've played it short to Patichotto, and now there's a chance for Pizarro to cross. It's deflected away. One in the air. Martinez gets underneath it. Now here comes Jugović, easily cut out by Garrido. Mendoza forward to Martinez. Can Martinez get into the middle? And the goalkeeper just pushes it away as the Colo Colo player came in. The 20-year-old really alert there, getting his more experienced players out of trouble. Good break by Colo Colo. Jugović to Vasiljevic. Panchev is looking for the far cross. Here comes Panchev, well cut out by Moron, and quickly played forward to Pizarro. Using Martinez wide on this left-hand side, and Yanez right up front. It's a strong tackle, too strong, by Najdowski. Najdowski with his thigh strapped. He had a few problems in training here. But here's Yanez really bursting away over that right-hand side. Both teams then at the moment playing one main striker with another striker playing off him, and a lot of players in midfield. Here's Bartichotto. Bartichotto does well. Belodedic gets it away. It's some relief. Panchev easily beaten by Margas. Vilches turning well to Mendoza. Mendoza going for the return from Yanez. It's not a particularly good one, but laid outside to Martinez. He does well. Martinez heavily outnumbered. No foul. Play on, says the Swiss referee. Stosic safely back to his young goalkeeper, who's already got them out of trouble once. Here comes Jugović. Fairly easily cut out by the Colo Colo defense. Bartichotto, long-haired, wears 7. Argentine will hope to control things in midfield with Pizarro, the number 10 here in possession. Martinez is wide on the left. He gets it. Salvatierri, not a bad ball forward, just a little bit too strong. Nice ball for Martinez from the 21-year-old newcomer Salvatierra. Najdowski back to goalkeeper Milijevic. A little bit wet, damp. The ball will be greasy here. We've had some rain earlier this morning. It looks much clearer now, although the lights are on in the stadium here, and all the seats now taken. Pizarro, a little jink, gets away from his man well. Forward to Martinez, to Bartichotto. Bartichotto does well. Pass 2. Can he get a good cross in? Not good enough from Belodedic, the Romanian who's trying to get to Yugoslav nationality, gets it away, and a foul by Salvatierra on Stosic, and relief for Red Star. Savicevic, who's playing right up front at the moment with Panchev when he can get some service, and he hasn't had much at the moment. Here's Jugović. Panchev. Ratkovic got in there. Mihailovic with the cross, and the flag goes up for offside, although the crowd were rather excited by the antics of the Argentine goalkeeper Moron. 22-year-old Mihailovic should perhaps have done a little bit better with that, but the cross wasn't the problem, it was the positioning of his colleagues. The kick taken, and away we go. Encouraging start from Colo Colo. They were so worried that they were going to get blown out of this game in the first 10 or 15 minutes. But obviously, with a Yugoslav coach who's a supreme tactician, they've come up with a couple of ideas. Mendoza with Yanez coming to him. Yanez gets away from his man, and the foul, the Colo Colo players say, the Swiss referee says play on, nothing doing, no problems. Now Stosic to Ratkovic. Jugović, it's square of him, there might be room for Jugović to shoot, looking for the return, nicely cleared, and now there's a break on for Colo Colo with Bartichotto. Yanez on his right, Martinez on his left. Bartichotto is blocked by Belodedic, and it all comes to nothing. Jugović nicely into Belodedic, who's pushed forward. Mihailovic. Well, not particularly well cleared from Martinez. Panchev tried to get to it, but it's closely marked by Margas, and it breaks free. Pizarro, nicely controlled by Martinez. Back to Salvatierra, and they play it cool. This is big Garrido, the libero at the back, 34 years of age. One of the few who is good in the air. Yanes surely fouled there by Vasiljevic. Martinez trying to come to the ball here, controls it. Najdowski does well to get it off him. It's a difficult ball though for Stosic, runs it out, and the early indications are, and I'm sure Popovic, the Red Star coach, will have noticed that too, that the confidence seems to belong to the Colo side rather than to Red Star. They look very positive. Yanes controlling well. Forward goes Mendoza. Martinez is in the middle. Can Mendoza get by his man? Mendoza does well. Martinez blocked by Belodedic. Here's Yanes now for Colo Colo. Gets the cross in, partially blocked. Goalkeeper comes to help out, and they're off the hook again. The man in the raincoat and the cigarette is Jajic, Dragan Jajic, the very distinguished and very experienced Red Star international. A very, very big name in the club's history and indeed European football, but he looks as anxious as any Red Star supporter and player as his side come forward. The Ratkovic has done well there. Can Ratkovic get a good cross in? Now Panchev, can he turn it up? He can't, and the attempted shot by Radinovic still not clear. Pizarro, that's a good clearance to Bartichotto. Clever play by the Colo Colo captain, as for the first time Red Star came forward in numbers. Pizarro tripped by Jokic. Well, pretty obvious that that was an infringement. Kick has been taken. Bartichotto looking for a return. Martinez. Bartichotto goes to the left. Play on. No foul there. Blocked by strong defending by Red Star. They let it run out, and a good ball by Salvatierra, but Martinez is offside. So Bartichotto, number 7, the Argentine, as Jokic, the Colo Colo coach, will have noticed, is having a very influential game with Pizarro. But this looks dangerous here as Savicevic tries to get one forward to Panchev. Wide open game here, a very encouraging spectacle. Play on. The referee letting a lot of the doubtful challenges go, and that's to the benefit of the spectators here and all of us. Here's Pizarro. Mendoza wide on the right. What a great ball. Mendoza going for it. A little bit too strong. Beautiful idea. Charging down the right-hand side. But a good run from Mendoza, but what a pass from his captain Pizarro. So far, Colo Colo named after an Indian chief, famed for his wisdom and courage. Colo Colo would be pleased by the fact that they're showing quite a bit of wisdom, quite a bit of courage, but a long, long way to go yet, with only 12 minutes of the game gone, and Red Star just getting into something of a stride as Savicevic tries to get it forward. Nice ball to Jugović. Jugović does a good job and fired well over the top by Ratkovic. Touch of grey in his hair, but in fact a very young player. Well, a nice idea put forward to Jugović. He checks it back so that there is a target to hit for Ratkovic, but he doesn't hit it by a mile. Bartichotto on the chase. Well picked up by Ratkovic, the player who just had the shot a little bit earlier. Spectacular fall. And a free kick. Pizarro to take the kick. Yanez and Martinez interchanging on the edge of the area. Lovely chip for Yanez, but he's offside, I'm afraid. They pushed up just before the kick was taken, so he was into dead ground and the problem was over. Japanese linesman over the far side, a linesman from Hong Kong on this side. Savicevic. Strong challenge by Ramirez. They haven't got going yet, but there's a little bit of space here for Jugović, who's looked quite lively for Red Star. Savicevic, again the tight marking by number 6, Ramirez. Vilches and Pizarro. Pizarro and Bartichotto, the most dominant midfield players at the moment. Long way to go yet, though. Poor one forward from the Colo Colo captain. Jugović ducks by Vilches. Vilches and Bartichotto, 2 against 1, no foul, and it's Mendoza down the right-hand side to Yanez. Lovely twist and turn through the sandwich. Down he goes. That will be a free kick. It looked as if he got away there, but the leg was put out by Ratkovic, and down comes Pato Yanez. He got away from the most difficult challenge, but then the late one from Ratkovic brings him down. And you can see where his protection is here, not only in the front, but at the back, because of tackles like that. So, is this an opportunity for Colo Colo to try a direct free kick? Pizarro going for it. Pizarro with a shot, and a really stretching save from Milijevic. As Mendoza is levered off the ball. So once again, the 20-year-old goalkeeper gets a Red Star out of trouble. Stosic has come into the middle to try and get a bit of service. Radinovic is wide on this right-hand side. Mihailovic pulled down there, so that's another free kick. Well, a wonderful free kick here. A drive, a bit of a swirl, and he made it look spectacular, but in the end it was safe. Belodedic has pushed forward for a Red Star. Again, Belodedic as Colo Colo back pedal. Ratkovic. Najdowski a bit of space, but they're resisting the temptation to hump it forward because there's tight marking by Colo Colo. They're playing 3 at the back, 2 markers and a sweeper. So if you got by 1, you probably wouldn't get by big Garrido. But what about Savicevic here? He's done well. Panchev chases. Panchev against Margas. There won't be much daylight between these two. But a throw in for Red Star. Radinovic. A lot of players moving around in front of him, but a lot of them with white shirts. That's a good header by Martinez. Strong marking, but now Jugović can get one forward. It's away by Vilches. Knocked back by Belodedic. Picked up by Bartichotto. It's quite fast and furious now in midfield. The early stages of the game were certainly dominated by Colo Colo. They've had the best opportunities, the best shots, but I think Red Star beginning to bite a little bit. Garrido. Vilches. Mendoza goes wide on the right-hand side, but he's been marked. So back they come again, looking for another route. But there's danger here if they overdo it. Clever ball control. Here goes Ramirez. That's a hasty one as he was challenged, but is that a free kick? And some anxiety from Josic. So a free kick with Pizarro getting it wide to Mendoza. He's quickly closed down by Mihailovic. back to Pizarro. Trying to chip it over the top of Najdovski. Almost pinched by Vilches. Now then, Panchev. Panchev is on his own. He was looking for support from Savicevic. They haven't really worked out this combination up front, the two leading players for Red Star. Easy one for Belodedic. Najdovski and Radinovic. Well, they're getting nowhere, but they have space, they have possession, and it does give them time to organize themselves, sort something out, and perhaps get something forward here for Savicevic. Does well. Savicevic still there, and it's a good ball. There's a chance for Jugović. And Red Star have jumped into the lead. What a brilliant pass from Savicevic. And suddenly Popovic can relax. Red Star have taken the lead in the 20th minute. A sudden break. Jugović suddenly pops up on the left-hand side. Savicevic gets the congratulations deservedly of his colleagues because he opened them up. He turned by his man Martinez and through the face of the area to Jugović, and he tucks it inside the far post. 1-0. Against the run of play, but real quality by Savicevic. And cool finishing by Jugović. The midfield player suddenly pops up into a striking position, and the striker finds him with a midfield pass. Lovely play. 1-0 to Red Star. And Colo Colo, anxious about the first 20 minutes, are in trouble as Mihailovic goes forward again. But they win it well. This was exactly what Chile and their Yugoslav coach didn't want. They'd looked the better side in the first 20 minutes, but suddenly Red Star struck with a beautiful counter-attack, and now the whole story will be different. Lovely pass forward to Mendoza as it's too strong. Well, he looked very anxious in the first moment, Popovic, but once Savicevic puts Jugović into a position like that, he can begin to think more positively. And they can celebrate. Well, not all of them anyhow. Well, extraordinary turnaround. If there was any money to be put on a side scoring, it was going to be Colo Colo. But Red Star with a touch of brilliance from two players. And now it'll be interesting to see whether Colo Colo are aptly named after that Indian chief. Pretty brutal tackle there by Najdovski. Free kick then to Colo Colo. Pizarro. Cut out by Vasiljevic. Pizarro coming again. Under pressure there, Jugović. Well played by Bardicciotto. Bardicciotto, as Yanes falls, Bardicciotto gets a cross in. Was it deflected? Goal kick. Bardicciotto ran out of space there. Did well to pinch the ball in the first place. But now a lot of responsibility for someone like him to pull Mirko Josic and his side out of trouble. Red Star of Belgrade forced to play their European Cup ties, the home ones, out of Yugoslavia, in a terrible financial position at the moment. But at the moment, their morale here very, very high. Savicevic, brilliantly done. Beats two players. Savicevic again, a beautiful chip. They were in trouble there as Margas controls cleverly and gets it to Pizarro. Bartichotto to Martinez. Can he get there before Belodedic? Great tackle. Now then, Jugović, the goal scorer. No foul, and it's Bartichotto again. There's no width on the right-hand side. They'll have to come back this way. Pizarro, they're squeezed into one area. Unless they can get Mendoza breaking down the right-hand side, they haven't really got much of a threat there. Here's Mendoza. Trying to change it, and it's not good enough. Yanez hadn't got a hope of that one. So Pizarro and company worried by the fact that they had so much play in the first part of the game. But for Kurt Roethlisberger, the languages teacher, not too many problems so far. Savicevic and the challenge by Ramirez. There goes Bartichotto. Bartichotto with a chance here. Again, the telling pass from the left-hand flank, the break down the right-hand side, and the Argentine Ricardo Bartichotto was in a good position. Lovely ball again by Pizarro. Cuts out the defender. The target is on. It comes down, not quite quick enough, and over it goes. But they're certainly getting these breaks in. But it's still Colo Colo trailing by 1 goal. Red Star of Belgrade, formed in 1945, largely by Belgrade University students. They've always been, if you like, the rebels in the Yugoslav pack. And here they come on the counter-attack again. There's Ratkovic pushes forward to Jugović, trying to find the Panchev on the right-hand side. Here's Najdowski. Panchev has pushed forward into the middle, but the ball wasn't strong enough. Belodedic. For Radinovic now, able to get forward a little farther to support Savicevic. Does well to get away from his man, and that's a lovely ball to Mihajlovic. Mihajlovic into Ratkovic. Ratkovic driving forward and just across the face of the goal, and Panchev couldn't get there. Ratkovic brought into the side. Recently, they decided to play only one front man and an extra midfield player, but they're getting their midfield players forward into very, very important positions. Good ball from Mihajlovic, a great run by Ratkovic, and a dangerous ball there. Panchev just not able to get in onto the end of it. Pizarro chasing. It's out, I'm afraid. It's a throw in. He's working so hard. Well, Josh had certainly made his name in Chile. He's changed the tactics of the side since he took over 14 months ago. They've certainly been more offensive than perhaps we expected, and it's a bit sad for them that they're trailing by 1-0. But brilliant play by Red Star. Savicevic with Ramirez. It was a poor challenge by Ramirez, the player who looks very young, and he looked very inexperienced there when he leapt for that one, climbing all over Savicevic. Colo Colo don't want to give the ball back. Poor leap. One can never tell in these circumstances against South American goalkeepers, and Moron isn't particularly tall, whether Red Star might try a direct shot from this distance. This is good 10, 15 yards outside the penalty area. Is it Mihajlovic with the left foot? It is. It's a good one, but the goalkeeper, the first direct shot he's had, apart from the one he missed, of course, very safe on that one. Jose Daniel Moron quite comfortable. Over the wall and down. Nicely struck. There's a free kick over that far side. Beginning to brighten up a bit here, although we have had the lights on for all of the game. The starting time here in Tokyo is 12 noon local time. A little bit dull this morning, but brightening up now. And two sides certainly going for goal. Salvatierra to Baticciotto. Pizarro. Yanez is the only man up front. Tried to get it through a packed midfield, didn't manage it. Oh, that's a bad tackle there on Salvatierra. He's lucky to get away with that. And indeed, there's problems there for Red Star as Mihajlović breaks down the left-hand side. Panchev comes to him. Mihajlović goes wide, and out comes goalkeeper Maron. Play goes on, but Ratkovic has in fact recovered from that injury, so it wasn't quite as painful or as serious as we thought, as Jugović breaks forward. Well, Jugović has done brilliantly. Now he comes down on the edge of the area. It's amazing how the Yugoslavs are managing to get through on these individual runs. Jugović evades one tackle, but Garrido and then Mendoza bring him down. Very lively midfield player. It's extraordinary the way Yugoslavs export footballers in droves, yet still they produce quality sides. As Savicevic gets in there and Maron beats it away. Radinovic tried to get it back in again, but it wasn't good enough, and Pizarro kicks the Yugoslav player and is hurt, and there's a few problems at the other end. Now the referee is a little bit busier. Pizarro looked as if he was hurt there. Meanwhile, there's a small confrontation in the penalty area, and it's Josic who's trying to get his side to calm down and keep the pattern going. Pointed comments from Jose Maron. Ramirez getting some sustenance. Just over half an hour gone, still 1-0 to Red Star of Belgrade. Vilches gave it away. Good run forward here by Radinovic. Radinovic doing well again. No foul. Pizarro was fouled. Very much in the walls, but very much in the game also. The score at the moment overall in these Toyota Cups, 7-4 to South America. The early stages of the challenge match here for the unofficial world title, very much dominated by South America, but the tide has certainly turned in the last few years as the Europeans not only realize what an important prize it is, but they come here, they prepare well, they regard it as a coveted trophy. Mendoza. Baticciotto. Leave it off it. Baticciotto gets the ball back as we relive the clumsiness of Radinovic. Now a chance here for Colo Colo to equal the score, perhaps. Baticciotto on the penalty spot. Yanez coming to it and cleared in extremis, if you like, by Red Star. They didn't really know a lot about that. And Mendoza has won it back again. Good play. Martinez calling for the ball forward. This is Baticciotto. A little bit more life now in Colo Colo. Stunned by that 20-minute goal from Jugović, who's in possession now. But they're coming back into it, provided they don't leave themselves open to the counter-attack. Another goal here would certainly kill them off. Stosic involved on that flank, but he's found it quite difficult to get into this game. Savicevic is moving around more. Given away. Easily picked up by Vasiljevic. Najdowski. Belodedic. Showing a lot of confidence on the ball now, Red Star, and particularly Savicevic. Overdid it a bit there. Vilches protests that that wasn't a free kick, but the Swiss referee says it was, and that's good enough. Savicevic again to Jugović, couldn't quite pull it down under the challenge, and Colo Colo pick up. Well, Pizarro, spectacular effort to try and keep it in. An ooh and an ah from the Japanese crowd here. It's interesting how the appreciation of the game has changed since this competition came here in 1981. A long goal kick, a long throw caused interest in those days. Now much more sophisticated, much more knowledge generally. Plenty of cigarettes, plenty of anxiety, but one goal in the lead. With 10 minutes of the first half remaining. Stosic, Garrido doing well, but they're working so hard in midfield, Red Star, at the moment, where I think Colo Colo are outnumbered. But currently being outfought, except for Pizarro and Garrido. Long ball forward to Martinez, easily put away by Najdowski. Meat and drink to a European marker, that sort of a pass. So here we try again. Forward again to Martinez. Martinez turns well, gets away from Najdowski. Mendoza wide on the right-hand side, is tracked by Ricardo, and here comes Yanez. But so many red shirts back, and they play it coolly, get out of trouble. It's good defending. This time the crossfield pass was tracked, and they close it down quite nimbly. Bit of pressure on them, but they do well. And there's a free kick anyhow. A reminder that pictures here are from NTV, the Nippon Television Network Corporation, Channel 4, the senior Japanese commercial station. The 12th Toyota Cup, and it's Red Star of Belgrade, the European champions, currently leading Colo Colo, the Libertadores champions, by 1-0. Poor pass forward for Jugović. He's chasing, he's harrying, and he's got it back. Mihajlovic to Panchev. I would have thought Savicevic was offside, but the linesman didn't think so, so play on. Mendoza forward for Yanez, appealing for the free kick. The referee indicates get up and get on, and that's what Red Star are doing. They're holding firmer at the back. They didn't look too clever in the first 10-15 minutes, but they look better now. You can't beat the confidence of a goal. And a couple of good saves from Milojevic, the young goalkeeper. A few whistles from the Japanese crowd. They want them to get forward at pace, but as we've seen, they can vary the pace with telling effect. Decision going to Colo Colo there. Pizarro. He gets plenty of possession, but it's in deep areas. Nice turn by Pato Yanez. Yanez going forward, and again Red Star keep their discipline, and there's no way through. As Savicevic tries to get away from one, doesn't get away from the second. Now it's Vilches, and now Yanis with a chance. Can he break onto this one? And good covering by Mihailovic. Pato Yanis, the 30-year-old most experienced forward they have here, looked as if he'd got away, but that was good covering by a wide midfield player. How well Red Star are working together. Savatiera cuts out. Savatiera, Vilches, only in the game infrequently for Colo Colo, whereas now a lot of the Red Star players are getting involved and working well together. Defending in numbers, attacking in numbers. Things are looking brighter for them, but at 1-0, anything can happen. That's a good tackle by Salvatierra. Garrido. Ramirez, Vilches, good play, brilliant build-up, and now there's a break on the right-hand side for Mendoza. This is a brilliant run here by Colo Colo. Can Yanis get it in? But once again, the goal was well protected. They got as far as the danger area, then there was no way through for Patricio Yanis because he was tightly marked. He took a risk, it didn't pay off. So very little protection here in the National Olympic Stadium as we come up to the 40-minute mark. 5 minutes left with Colo Colo coming to life in the later stages of the first half. Salvatierra. Garrido does well. The libero coming forward for the first time. Not so well from Pizarro. Good support from Ramirez. Here comes Ratkovic. Well played by Stosic. Not such a good pass forward though. Pizarro protects it, but Stosic bundles him off it. I would have thought Pizarro has been subjected to about 60% of the fouls committed by Red Star. Pizarro forward for Particciotto, but again, although the marking was tight and he got the header in, there's a spare man, Belo Dedic, on the ball now, always in reserve if things go wrong. Radinovic. Savicevic, a lovely touch forward, gets him going. And the return, Savicevic ducks by 1-2, in he goes. No foul. According to the referee, he ran into the player deliberately because he'd lost control, and I think that was a sound judgment. A change again by Yanis to the right-hand side, this time to Particciotto. Mendoza is running forward, taking a defender with him. Particciotto with a cross, and there's nobody on the far post. Martinez had gone to the near post, and the danger is over. But always, if there is going to be an opening for Colo Colo, it seems to be the ball switched from the left to the right-hand flank. Jugović to Radinovic. Radinovic fights hard, and Margas battling with him here, and out it goes. Well, no real hurry to get on with it. They know half-time is approaching. Savicevic. Again, the touch of Platini in his looks and in his style, and in that left foot. Here comes Garrido for Colo Colo. Garrido again, and there's big problems there. Off the ball as Savicevic and Ramirez tangle, and off goes Savicevic. Well, this is drama here in the closing minutes of the first half, and what an extraordinary incident. And now Red Star are in trouble. A yellow card for Ramirez, but a red card for Savicevic 2 minutes before the half-time break. It looked as if Red Star were well in control, but suddenly their captain is sent off for striking the Colo Colo defender. What an extraordinary turnaround. So now Red Star are down to 10 men, and that sign sums it up completely. Typical of the Yugoslavs. This is why Josic, the Yugoslav coach of Colo Colo, said he didn't really want to coach senior Yugoslav players. He liked the young ones, but once they got over a certain age, you could never tell what they were going to do. Either it's money, it's women, it's drink, or it's bad discipline. They're wonderful players, he said, but they always do something daft. And now they've lost their captain, and perhaps they're going to lose even more. What an extraordinary turn of events. And now the 10 men are breaking forward with Josic and Jugović forcing their way down the left-hand side, but to no avail. And for the first time then, a man has been sent off here in Japan in this Tokyo Cup final. What difference, and it's sure to make a huge difference to the outcome of this one. Savicevic has gone, their main player, their captain, and that will give Colo Colo not only a man advantage, but a tremendous psychological advantage, although they still remain 1 goal down. I think the referee is well in control of the situation without Pato Yanes getting involved. The great danger now is this could explode into something more than one unsavory incident. Pizarro to Mendoza. We're into time added on now in this first half as they push forward. Indeed, there is the whistle for the end of the first half, which ended with shock, with drama, and with an explosion after Jugović had put Red Star in the lead. Well, what are their thoughts now? Aside in turn, just waiting for the official allotted time for the restart of the second half. This match being seen by 79 countries around the world, many of them live by satellite. There's a signal, away we go for the start of the second half of this 12th Toyota Cup tie, with Red Star of Belgrade with 10 men against Colo Colo of Chile with 11 men. But the Yugoslavs have that vital 1-goal lead. I wonder what their tactics will be now. It was interesting in the European Cup final, with the advice of the national coach, they decided to play very, very defensively. They killed the game off. Would they dare try to do that here? It would be dangerous, but they also have the ability to counter-attack very, very fast. And if Colo Colo are lured into a sense of false sense of security, which often happens when 11 play 10, there could be another goal for the Yugoslav side. We shall see. Here's a free kick to Red Star anyhow, with Radinovic getting forward, and another drive on the right-hand side by Jugović, and it breaks away from Ratkovic up to Yanes, and a foul. And I think we could have more problems yet. After that foul was committed and the referee's whistle heard, there was rather a nasty challenge by Mendoza on Vasiljevic. It's Mendoza now. And another bad challenge by Mihajlovic, and that's going to be a booking. And it's beginning to boil up, and it could well spill over. It's a bad challenge by the young midfield player. He knew he couldn't possibly get the ball first and took the man later. That's the sort of challenge that we're getting that will inflame the situation. So free kick to Colo Colo. Yanis is going up there. Badichotto is moving to the near post. Well cut out by Najdowski. Pizarro wins the header. Good lead. And not a particularly good cross clearance there by Ramirez. Forward they come on the counter-attack, the 10 men of Red Star. Jugović trying to find Panchev, who hasn't yet had a single shot or anything like a shot. But he has, and that means Red Star are leading by 1-0. Red Star, who've exported 36 players in the last 6 years, and it's likely that another 4 or 5 will be leaving quite soon, and if the situation in Yugoslavia deteriorates still further, they could go quicker than that. But here's another booking for a challenge by Vasiljevic, and the yellow cards are coming thick and fast. It was a late one, it was an unnecessary one, it clearly went for the ankle. And here come Colo Colo again. Yanis does well, it's gone out, that was bad luck. There's no doubt about where the sympathy of the home supporters are here, very much with Colo Colo. A little bit more demonstrative, as you can imagine, than the Yugoslavs when they came here. There are many, many problems for the Yugoslavs. It's not just a question of how they present themselves in a foreign capital to play a game of football. So if Colo Colo were able to get themselves level here, I think the place would erupt. Further problem that Milojevic doesn't appear to be taking these goal kicks. Now, Jugović to Mihajlovic. Good ball to Josic. Josic breaking forward here. Panchev is bypassed. We've got Radinovic over there. A very deep cross. Oh, good catch. And he drops it. Then the goalkeeper's in trouble. And Jugović can get it wide. Panchev shoots. And over the top. And Panchev at last has had a shot. Goalkeeper rather bravely came to catch that one. I thought he got it. But then perhaps the slippery ball lets it go. And it's Jugović who unselfishly sets up Panchev. A quick shot over the top. But at least he's getting involved as a striker. The man who got a total of 54 goals last year. Some adjustment to the sound system here. Well done. With thanks from NTV. Ratnovic to Najdowski and Belodedic. They must be patient, the 10 men. Now they can push up and allow Zvonko Milojevic to welly it up the other end. Good play by Ratnovic, just deflected away from Panchev. Mendoza, a little bit too clever for his own good. Gets it away from Mihajlovic, does well to supply Vilches. Freedom on the left-hand side for Salvatierra. This is where the 10 men will be in a bit of trouble. According to the coach's book of theory, the great problem with playing 11 against 10 is that you often say, well, we've got one extra man, we just keep getting it forward, and we must get a break. But in fact, the secret apparently is to keep playing it wide, keep making the 10 men run, and you'll open them up a little bit easier. Radinovic gets it forward to Stosic. He's fouled. The flags of Colo Colo, a little dampened, not in spirit, but by the weather. It's a good play by Stosic. Can he get across him? a rash attempt. Radinovic and Stosic working well together there, but the final pass was not a good one. He gets a round of applause. Vasiljevic for the diving header. Bartichotto back to Mendoza. Ratkovic wins it, loses it, falls over it, and loses it again. Mihailovic gives it straight to the opposition. Vilches tries to switch it to Martinez. And apart from that early burst in the first few minutes, the leading scorer of Colo Colo hasn't had too many shots either. Particularly good left foot, and 22 goals this season. Colo Colo need one more point to win the Chile championship for the third successive year, but more to the point, they need a goal here to get them back into business. And it's a sad reminder that it's the first time we've had a player sent off on these occasions. Vasiljevic trying to find Mihailovic. Break now by Colo Colo. The chase by Jugović. Mendoza gets away. He's a busy little player. And forward there is Yanis. Mendoza trying to get it forward. Offside is Bartichotto. Here's Mendoza again. Bartichotto deflected. Martinez still chases, but outnumbered. And Red Star get it away with some ease, but they were struggling there for a moment or two. And a giveaway by Josic. They fight again for it, but it's Pizarro picks it up. Here come Colo Colo chasing that equalizer. Pizarro, the captain, away by Najdowski. Back by Ramirez. Savatiera. Good drive, but quality defending. They kept their nerve. He kept running, but Red Star regained possession quite easily. Margas knocks it back, but it's Jugović who picks it up. Well, to their credit, Red Star, who kept it fairly open in the first half, along with Colo Colo, haven't really locked it up in the second half, despite the fact that they're down to 10 men. And you can see why most coaches would say that by the time you get to 55, you're a spent force. It's much too worrying a job sitting on the bench, particularly when you're captain of daft things like strike an opposing defender and get himself sent off. Belodedic, I wouldn't be at all surprised to see him push farther forward later on if things go badly, but they're going well at the moment. They're still leading by that one vital goal. Ratkovic. Mendoza. But how quickly they're getting back to challenge and to harry. The first time for Colo Colo in this sort of a world stage. In European terms, of course, the Red Star have been pretty near the top for a long, long time. Foul there, was there? It certainly was. Players like Vasiljevic have got to be very careful about those challenges from behind, particularly as they've already been booked once. Free kick. Here's Ramirez. A lot of Colo Colo players push forward. Yanis, nice turn and just runs it out. What a lovely shimmy though. Very engaging sort of a character. Can often talk himself into trouble, but he has some wonderful skills which were much appreciated for quite a few years in Spain, but the slippery turf let him down there. Zlatkovic trying to get it forward to Mihailovic, but a little bit inaccurate. Strange that a club like Red Star has so many different names, but is instantly recognized all over the world. Colo Colo, fairly constant, fairly obvious, but Red Star goes under a number of guises. But here they're down to 10 men and being pushed back as Martinez tries to get the crossover. It's well cleared by Belodedic. That's a good volley in those circumstances. Stella Rossa, Estrela Roja, Etoile Rouge, Rota Stern, or as we know it in English, Red Star. In Serbo-Croat, Crvena Zvezda. And they lead by 1-0, but they're under pressure. Jugović does well. Freedom out there for Stosic. Meanwhile, Martinez is trying to recover from a knock just inside the Red Star half, out of our view at the moment. Well played by Belodedic. Stosic has got forward well. Good play. Still Stosic. Radinovic. And it's a turn here by Jugović. Now Radinovic is in. Panchev, and yet again from Jugović. Jugović has done it again when Panchev looked as if he was going to put an easy one into the net. The 10 men have scored once more. Oh, how extraordinary. They fought for that one. They played it very cleverly down the right-hand side, and Coach Popovic can celebrate. Coach Jožić is in despair. Brilliant turn, a tackle, and it looked as if it was going to go in from Panchev, but then Jugović puts it in. 2-0. They worked it very well on the right-hand side through Radinovic. Panchev couldn't quite get there. Then Jugović, the scorer of the first goal, gets the second. It certainly worked it very well here. There was no lack of support despite the fact that they're down to 10 men. Panchev should perhaps have had that one, an awkward ball just behind him, and then nicely tucked in by the supporting midfield player. And back come Colo Colo. His heart must be really pounding with despair because they've had the opportunities. Bartichotto is an opportunity now here for Martinez. Easily pulled out by Milojevic. He made it look spectacular, but in fact he had that one sussed very comfortably. Bartichotto finds Martinez. It's a difficult ball. Tries to go over the top corner. Goalkeeper judges it well. Well, how amazing. The 10 men of Red Star leading by 2-0, and a substitution imminent. Well, it's an experienced forward brought back from Switzerland, and sadly it's the leading scorer, Martinez, who's going off. He's been largely effective, or ineffective. I wonder if he's had something of an injury. But now it's Hector Rubio to take up a striking position. Saint-Gallen in Switzerland he came from, although of course he had played for Colo Colo before that. It's interesting that Red Star came here with only 15 players, which means of course that they haven't got a full complement on the bench, only 4, and of course now they're down to 10 men on the bench for Colo Colo. They have 4 forwards in case things went wrong for them, where they have gone wrong and they brought a forward on, but for another forward. Here's Yanis. Can Yanis get a decent cross in? His side trailing by 2-0. well blocked by 2-3 players. Belodedic got himself into a bit of trouble as the ball ran away from him, and it's another corner to Colo Colo. Pizarro takes a knock but plays on. Pizarro, can he get a good cross in here? And it whistles across the face of the Red Star goal to nothing. Well, it'll take really strong morale and clever play from Colo Colo to get back into this game. It must be very daunting not only to be 1-0 down in a circumstance like this, but then 2-0 down against 10 men. That's enough to damage anybody's morale. Well won by Margas. Pettichotto can't get it. And the linking up between defense and attack for Colo Colo hasn't been nearly as good in the second half as it was in the first 20 minutes of the first half. Almost a bad challenge there by Margas, but he got out of trouble by Garrido. Pizarro with Radinovic. Quiet spell in the game at the moment as Colo Colo try to gather forces and strength to try and get back into the game. Pettichotto. Vilches and Margas. Flicked on by Yanez to Rubio. Well, Mendoza goes to cover the back pass, but it didn't really trouble Red Star. They cleared with some ease, but lose it rather too easily. Yanez. Mendoza is playing farther forward now. Ramirez back to Mendoza, and Rubio turns. Rubio trying to get forward, and Belodedic, a very cool sweeper there, running almost into a brick wall. Margas. And preparing for a second substitution and bringing on another forward and another Argentine, but not for the moment. As Red Star look to add to that 2-0 lead. Mendoza breaking away from one, from two, brought down by Najdowski. 20 minutes then of the second half gone. 2-0 to Red Star. And the substitution about to be made. Salvatierra is coming off, and coming on is Ricardo Dabrowski, a 21-year-old midfield player coming off, and a 30-year-old front player coming on. So Colo Colo hardly putting all their eggs in an attacking basket, but trying to give themselves a couple more options. Yanez, can he get the cross in? Well, he keeps it in, but it's 2 against 1 there, with no real chance. No real support either. Well, there's the man who was sent off, but he must be thoroughly delighted that his side are leading by 2-0 to get him off the hook. But some time to go yet. We've had just about 21, 22 minutes of the second half. Nobody more relieved than Savicevic that that second all-important goal was scored by the acrobatic player there, Jugović. But if Colo Colo could just get one goal now, that would really raise their morale, and I'm sure they get the backing of the 60,000 supporters here, or most of them. 250 Yugoslav supporters arrived this morning, most of them without tickets. These days, rather sadly, if you're aged between 18 and 60, you have to have a permit to leave Yugoslavia. Most of them didn't have permits either, so there could be problems for them when they go back to Yugoslavia. Yanis, cut out by Vladimir. Here's Rubio. Rubio's cross deflected, goalkeeper comes for it with Grabowski. Ball had gone out, it's a corner. Difficult ball for the young goalkeeper to catch. Held on to it at least. Now, Colo Colo with Dabrowski on the far side. Oh, it's a poor cross. Play on, they want to get it moving quickly. Getting a bit of a pattern going now as Rubio crosses. Dabrowski and Yanis. What a save by Milijevic. Yanis should have scored there. That was a brilliant save, but it was a clear opportunity. Yanis put through there by Dabrowski, and the goalkeeper clutches hold. Yanis will know that that was probably the best opportunity they've had in the game so far. Rubio and Dabrowski have certainly made a difference for Colo Colo, but his dramatic save there has made a very big difference to the scoreline. A lot of outside observers felt that putting a 20-year-old into an arena like this was too much for him, but he's been a quality performer so far. And the Red Star get it away again. Jugović breaking, score of 2 goals. Is he going for a hat-trick? Oh, he's trying to get Panchev away. It was well cut up by Garrido. A foul there by Vladimir. It's going to be a free kick to Colo Colo. The ball is played quickly, restarted hardly from where the offence was committed, but the referee doesn't seem to mind too much. And there's urgency now in the play. And there's good catching from Milijevic. Knuckles white, are they? Well, they don't need to be, because at 2-0, they're still looking the better side. Yanis trying to turn away, does well. He's got support, but he doesn't use it. Knocked into Rubio. Rubio looking for Dabrowski. Particciotti had pushed forward too. Now there's a lot of pressure by Colo Colo, and Garrido going for the return, or indeed trying to set up Particciotti. Very close to getting through there. This is spirited play now by Colo Colo. They're making a fight of it. Vladimir for Red Star. Not frightened to come forward in numbers. Panchev and Colo Colo left themselves wide open. Panchev confident enough to try a shot. Didn't really trouble the goalkeeper, although dropping it wouldn't have pleased him too much. But it's interesting how Red Star will get support for the front players when they get possession. They're not hanging on to 2-0 at all. They don't seem to be at all worried by the fact that they have only 10 men. Jugović
Back to Belodedic. Not a particularly good clearance from a man who's had a very influential game here. Going to get the cross in, Rubio, not a good enough one. And it's Belodedic to clear up and start again. How quickly he controls the ball and relays it away. Radnovic to Jugović, that's good play. On the left-hand side is Mihajlovic. Mihajlovic going past his man Margash. Mihajlovic to Panchev. And it's 3-0. What a great counter-attack from Red Star. And the game is all over now. And relief from Savicevic. Joy from Panchev. And Red Star Belgrade lead by 3-0. Despair from one Yugoslav again. Well, Panchev in the right spot. Jugović made it. Mihajlovic beats his man Margash and then sets up Panchev for a very easy goal. But what a great move from one end of the field to the other. It started with Radnovic. Jugović took it over. Then Mihajlovic. Wonderful cross, and Panchev really couldn't miss. 3-0, the trophy is theirs. But still Colo Colo will make a game of it. Yanes and Dabrowski knocked over and out by Ratkovic. Very much involved in that third goal. So, although he can't be happy, Savicevic, by his involvement and what he's done here, he can hold his head up a little bit higher now, I think, because he could so easily have let not only Red Star Belgrade down, he could have let Yugoslavia, whatever that means just at this rather sad moment, he could have let his country down. But brilliant play like this has secured the trophy for the Yugoslavs. So we enjoy their celebrations again. The game now can be restarted for this corner taken by Rubio as Colo Colo look for a goal which will give them some consolation, if not the spirit to fight on. Good play by Yanes, looking for Bartichotto. Had a much quieter second half. Pushed out of it. Indirect free kick. So a direct shot might not be on. Quarter of an hour of the game left. And to the credit of both sides, they've gone for attacking football, even the side down to 10 men, and it's paid off handsomely. Pizarro, I think, wants to have a go at it, but he must know it's indirect. Little touch there, and beaten out by Ratkovic. Played wide here to Mendoza. Flicked on by Yanis. Rubio battling. And the drive from Mendoza just touched away by Milojevic. Corner. They're still going for it, but they've left themselves wide open at the back. Now here's Pizarro. Good play. Rubio. And great tackle. Garrido tries to play it into space, does so rather cleverly, but Mendoza tracked by Milojevic. Mendoza gets by, gets a return, and there's a good ball for Dabrowski, and the opportunity again was there, but the goalkeeper came out like lightning. He knows he missed an opportunity. It was a lovely cross, but it was a very brave goalkeeping. Well, a 3-0, I don't think a goal here would have made a great deal of difference, but you can never tell. Nice cross in the end. Dabrowski had a chance, he lets it run too far, goalkeeper comes out fast and takes a knock. And they know an opportunity has gone begging. Well, lengthy treatment for Zvonko Milojevic. It was thought that Lekovic, an older goalkeeper, only by about 4 years, would get the opportunity to play here. Milojevic didn't play particularly well against Manchester United in the Super Cup. He flapped a bit at a few crosses and they lost by 1-0. The goal was nothing to do with him. But here he's played with some distinction. And as Vladimir Zvetkovic, the distinguished vice president of Red Star, said, in our situation, we can't afford to muck about. If he's good enough, we've got to put him in. He'll have to learn the hard way. We might not have time to blood players further. We can't tell how long they're going to stay with us. Yanes. Forward run here by Rubio. Well, you could see what was coming. He was going to knock it up and then bicycle kick it. But Belodedic read that one. Now Rubio. Dabrowski gets up. Not well enough. Panchev back into the danger area. Here comes Yanes. Well, that was again good defending. Panchev put his own side in trouble. And when Dabrowski tried to put Yanes through, again, good defending. But unfortunately, another injured player. And once again, it's Belodedic, the player who is, as they say, between countries. Of Serbian descent, born though in Romania, defected to Yugoslavia in the Ceausescu regime. Romania tried to get him back, tried to prevent him playing, but the Yugoslav Federation and the FIFA said in the circumstances he could play. He's trying to get Yugoslav nationality. It'll take him another 3 years to do so. I think perhaps they might speed things up the way things are there, sadly. Mendoza to Vilches and Pizarro. Offside, I'm afraid, against Bartichotto. Well, still, Colo Colo come forward looking for that important goal that will make things look a little better for them. But how frustrating for them. Pizarro. Dabrowski is right up front. This is Bartichotto. Bartichotto going forward. Goal kick given. And very little now is going the way of Colo Colo, who pulled off their first Libertadores win in 32 years. They won 7 of their ties at home. They didn't do particularly well at home and away from home. And away from home here in very neutral surroundings with most of the support of the Japanese behind them, they started very well. But once the first goal went in 20 minutes, their morale took a nasty knock. Now, Jugović to Stosic. Oh, Stosic, I think, wanted Panchev to come the other way. Panchev wanted it to go to Mihailovic, and in the end, nobody gets it. Here they come again, Red Star. Jugović certainly been the player of the match so far. It'll be interesting who gets the most valuable player award after this. But here's Bartichotto going for the drive and well wide. A lot of anxiety now in that final ball, and I'm afraid Josic must have given up the ghost now with something like 8 minutes or so left. Extraordinary, this nation of 6 republics, 2 autonomous regions, 20 ethnic minorities, 3 official languages, 3 religions, 2 alphabets. They can always get themselves into a bit of trouble anywhere, but they can really play football. That one doesn't quite work for them. It's kept in, but not to their own advantage. Mendoza, with help from his goalkeeper, doesn't want it, wriggles his way out of trouble nimbly, gets a round of applause, and forward come Colo Colo. Bartichotto now. Bartichotto does well. Can he get a proper cross in? Bartichotto still going, and here's Rubio, and cleared by inevitably Belodedic. Even when they get behind the last line of defence, they cannot seem to get it to a front player to get a proper shot in. And when they do, on the rare occasion they do, goalkeeper Milojevic seems to be on top form. Trying to get it wide to Panchev. Lets it run away from him. Panchev against Ramirez, and a very optimistic shot indeed. This then is the Toyota Cup from Tokyo, Japan, the clash between the European champions and the South American champions for the unofficial World Club title. And I think we know where that title is going at the moment. But I wouldn't guess on the final score, because at both sides, very encouragingly have gone for attacking football throughout this game. And I think Colo Colo deserves something. In goes Rubio, a little touch and a nice one to Bartichotto. Yanis gets forward here to Rubio. Rubio challenged by Najdovski, and here comes Bartichotto, and again Milojevic is equal to it. Didn't hit it totally cleanly, but there was a nice move, concerted forward play by Colo Colo, good defending by Najdovski, and then good goalkeeping by Milojevic. That was the tackle that mattered, and here's the save that matters. And a good interception by Ratkovic, and they're so good on these counter-attacks. I suppose it's inevitable if you say something encouraging to give the ball away to the opposition. With 5 minutes left on our clock, but not necessarily that of the Swiss referee, as he just checks his watch at this very moment. So it looks as if it's going the European way. The first 5 of these contests won by the South Americans. Indeed, Europeans found it hard even to score a goal. Colo Colo will know exactly how they felt. But in the last few years, it's certainly turned towards Europe. As Jugović finds Ratkovic and Ratnovic and shoots over the top, and they're looking for a fourth. This is a fullback, a defender. Has the nerve to come up and get a shot in. Radinovic, set up by the key player of the game, Jugović, and fires over the top. Beautiful idea though, but the defender's shooting. But here comes a forward for Colo Colo. Padoyanis. Great interception by Najdovski. Belodedic. Oh, what a tremendous pass. Withdrew the ball, gave himself half a yard of space, and found a man. Free kick. Last year, this trophy, of course, was won by AC Milan. The year before by AC Milan. Nacional put in a victory over PSV in 1988. Before that, it was Porto of Peñarol. And here we're going to get a victory for Yugoslavia. Baticotto takes the kick with a suspected moving ball there, but the referee, as he has done for most of this game, has allowed the game to flow, and it's flowing in favour now of Colo Colo as Najoski gets a challenge in there when it seemed almost impossible. He was outnumbered. Baticotto waved a leg in there and I'm sure committed a foul. So now we will have a free kick. Panchev pulled to the ground. The referee says there was no foul. Mendoza gets the ball forward into a rather untidy midfield. Won again by Radinović, this marauding right back of Red Star, who gets forward into attacking positions when he feels like it. Stosic to Mihajlović. Here's Radinović now. Wide to, in my view, the player of the game, Jugović. Now Panchev going for the volley, doesn't hit it right. But acknowledges that was a really great ball from Jugović. Forward they come again in the closing moments, desperate to get their name on the score sheet. Goalkeeper tucks it over, but the flag was fluttering over this side of the field to say it's over already, so it's a goal kick. But what a good game he's had. And if you analyse the way Red Star have played in this game, the goalkeeper certainly had a key performance here, holding on to difficult balls, getting them out of trouble early on. Belodedic has held together the defence particularly well. They haven't really been under too much trouble after the first 20 minutes, although there has been considerable pressure on them, and somehow they've managed to turn adversity into triumph. As Belodedic gets possibly the highest today. Vilches controls, but only in favour of Mihajlović, and the game now is quietly dying. Not in his mind, though. What a triumph for Red Star, considering the situation at home, considering how they made problems for themselves here. It's been a marvellous success for them. Pizarro, the Colo Colo captain, has worked valiantly, but they haven't managed to knock in their half chances. Now, Garrido, Yanis, Pizarro, still they come forward looking for that goal. Mendoza, Yanis, and Red Star defend with some comfort. Magas down to Ramirez. And here's Baticotto. Baticotto's through, but he's not past Belodedic. Baticotto putting out a leg there, really crazily. Oh, I mean, the second person sent off had that connected. That was pure unnecessary frustration. We're into time added on now in this 12th to the final. Flying tackle from Vasiljevic. Mendoza has had a busy game on the right-hand side. Now it's Rubio. Will Rubio try one? Rubio shoots, but he knows full well with Belodedic just in front of him. He had no real target to shoot at. He tries to take it wider and wider and wider. Lets one go. Hopeless. So we know now that Jugović is the most valued player here, according to the Japanese journalists, and just a personal point of view, I would think it's a very sound decision. When you get a midfield player scoring a couple of goals, he's got to have done quite a contribution. Forward goes Rakovic, looking for Panchev. Panchev holds it up, he's got support on the right-hand side, but the shot coming in from Stosic was from a long way out. Into 2 minutes of time added on here as Colo Colo from Santiago, Chile, still look for the goal that they might well have deserved, but don't look like getting. There is the final whistle. The game is over. Red Star of Belgrade produce a little chink of success and enjoyment to a country at war. 2 goals from Jugović, another one from Panchev. They've won this 12th Toyota Cup by 3 goals to 0. Incredibly, 10 men for all of the second half and for the last 2 minutes of the first half. An amazing triumph for the European champions, and relief from Savicevic, and a smile when it could so easily have been tears. A country in turmoil. They don't know what their captain sent off. They seem to play better with 10 men than they did with 11. So the presentation of the Intercontinental Trophy, the presentation of the Toyota Cup. First of all, Najdovski receiving from Roger van den Stok the Intercontinental Trophy. And then from Eiji Toyoda, the chairman of the Toyota Motor Corporation, receiving the Toyota Cup. So 2 trophies, Panchev and Najdovski. A country in turmoil, but now a team in triumph.